Yakuza series is highly regarded amongst action fans for its unique gameplay systems and surprisingly deep narrative. Over the years, we've grown used to the returning characters and the evolution of the various features, but I don't think any of us were ready for such a departure. Still, developer RGG Studio has ripped the band-aid off and released Yakuza Like a Dragon, which introduces us to a new main protagonist and plenty of new features. Thankfully, as much as this is a departure of what fans expect, this entry shows that the series has many years of fantastic Yakuza stories to tell.
That reminds me, you find yourself a girl yet?
No, sir. I'm like a reverse chick magnet.
Don't be so quick to throw in the towel.
Yakuza Like a Dragon stars Yakuza member Ichiban Kasuga, who aspires to be a strong arm of the Arakawa family. He owes a lot to Arakawa, and that debt makes him loyal beyond means to his requests. This leads Ichiban to take the blame for a crime to save the family's face, which finds him in prison for 18 years. However, when he gets out, Ichiban finds out that a lot has changed, and not just the times, but also his previous family. Introducing new main protagonists this late in the series is a bold move. So much of the opening of the game is spent in cinematics. The narrative focus is impressive in this entry, as each character receives decent exposition and a backstory to provide a lowdown on who they are and their relationship with Ichiban. What's more surprising about it all is just how deep these connections go and how complex these characters are. As Ichiban learns more about the events that happened while he was in prison, he teams up with a group of others who join him on his hero's quest. Players are taken down a narrative rabbit hole, and Ichiban's discoveries play a significant focus on the entire experience. This may turn away players expecting more hands-on time with new characters because much of the first 3 chapters are cinematics, so understand that this is a time investment. Sure, it helps to get to know the original cast, but it's almost like watching an episode of a Yakuza television show instead of playing a game sometimes. During gameplay, players will find a new battle system that changes the action-centric brawl fest that the series is known for in exchange for a more RPG turn-based fight fest. When in battle, players can do standard RPG actions like attack, guard, skill, or use an item. As much as it sounds like an insane system for the series, it actually ends up working. Unlike the previous protagonist Kazuma, Ichiban is a Dragon Quest fan, which is why in battles he pretends that he's a turn-based RPG hero. As more party members join your group, the battle system becomes a bit more complex. However, there are times that the battles can last a little longer than they should, but I felt that they make this series accessible to a different type of player. The length often comes with the enemies are taking a little longer than usual to take their action. That's not to say that the system forgets about series fans, as it flows swiftly enough when you're selecting actions, but it is an entirely new experience. For those not totally into this system, there is a reasonably competent auto battle mode. The battle system's more unique moments include abilities that require a button prompt to add extra damage. You're also able to guard against the attacks to decrease the effects. There is an additional component when you attack near an object where the character will pick up something and use it as a weapon. After fights, the party earns rewards and gains levels, which completes the RPG experience. If that wasn't enough, there are special scenes with the party members to get closer and build your bonds with them, as well as NPCs. Exploration is also a considerable part of Yakuza Like a Dragon, in which we get a whole new area to explore here, Isuzaki Injijo. This is pretty exciting for longtime fans who are used to the setting of Kamurocho. However, Ichiban is not the top dog here and needs to rise to fame through any means possible. This is an incredible juxtaposition compared to the opening chapters and gives us a perspective that we are truly building something. The best moments of the game revolve around learning more about Ichiban and his way of thinking. He brings these traits to him in this new setting that changes everything, and his sense of loyalty is admirable and pure, which makes it hard not to love him. He takes these small simple tasks so seriously, like collecting cans and taking on side missions. What's more surprising is the subject matter that the story can touch on, which doesn't always play it safe. It's these moments that really flesh out these new characters, and I couldn't get enough of it. Like previous entries in the series, there's plenty to do here when you aren't taking on primary missions. However, it'll be a few hours before you truly are able to go out on your own. The sub-stories are incredibly fun to pour time into, but sometimes it's tough to take a break from the campaign. However, this pacing can be a big problem as Ichiban finds his place in the world, and if the player isn't entirely on board, things can get pretty boring fast. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a beautiful game that can be seen in its environments and character designs. The enemy designs can get repetitive, but that's no different than any other fantasy RPG. What's even better is just how well the voice audio works for the game's appeal, whether you play it in English or Japanese. The animation work during cinematics is terrific, making it easy to sit through the long story segments. This extends into the in-game animations while walking around town or in battles. Everything just looks great. Yakuza Like a Dragon makes for an excellent new entry in the long-running series. The developers took a chance on a new protagonist and battle system which forces fans out of their comfort zone for a very different yet familiar Yakuza experience. Although the opening exposition can be a bit overwhelming, this is a standout video game on its own, with plenty of emotional story beats, insane sub-stories, and plenty of ways to spend your time around Ichijo. Noisy Pixel is giving Yakuza Like a Dragon a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Masato-chan, do you understand how hard it is to raise a kid? Have you ever bothered to help your wife, even just a little?
What?
Like, just holding a baby's a lot of work. You have to support their neck until they can keep their head up on their own. Lots to look out for, no matter how small the task. Babies are weak, delicate creatures, very fragile. You can't blame your wife for being a little stressed out.